Assalamu alaikum and hello, dear viewers. Today we'll talk about the determinants of foreign policy. I mean, those factors which gives shape to foreign policy and gives a direction for action to foreign policy. There are two kinds of determinants. One, internal determinants, and second, external determinants. So first, have a look to internal determinants. All those factors, constraints, which are located inside the boundaries of a state, those are called internal determinants of foreign policy. For example, geography, history, culture, ethnicity, uh, structure of the government, public opinion, media, natural resources, economy, science and technology, etc. So first have a look about geography. Geography it plays an important role in shaping foreign policy of a country. First, if I give example from Pakistan, so that was Pakistan which signed two multilateral agreements with the United States in the era of 1950s. First in 1954, SEATO, Southeast Asian Treaty Organization, and the second that was Baghdad Pact. Later it was renamed when Iraq withdrew from it in 1959. So Pakistan signed it in 1955 CENTO, Central Treaty Organization. And two big defense agreements, Pakistan and United States, they signed bilaterally. So if you look to the decade of 1950s, Pakistan was a weak country. It was newly born. Um, but United States, a superpower, came here and signed these agreements. Why? Because of Pakistan geography. That was the era of the Cold War. US and its European allies just stopped the spread of communism by creating NATO, North Atlantic Treaty Organization in Europe, but there was a need for its allies in Asia. So Pakistan was one of the best options that time because Pakistan was a gateway to South Asia and also to Middle East from that of uh, China side and Russia side. Pakistan shares common border with the People's Republic of China, while Pakistan was just 65 kilometer away from Soviet Union by the Wahan corridor of Afghanistan. So that's why it was for the advantage of the United States that Pakistan was included in these agreements. But on the other hand, Pakistan was also in search of defense assistance and economic assistance. So US provided these assistance, especially Pakistan wanted against India. Another example of this I give from geography that was the Jupiter missiles, what United States installed in Turkey. At that time, Turkey shared common border with Soviet Union, nowadays with Armenia. And in retaliation in 1962, then there was Cuban Missile Crisis because Soviet Union had installed uh, missiles in Cuba. So Cuba, that is in proximity of the United States, very close to the US, an islandic country. So geography played important role in deterrence against the US by Cuba and the Soviet Union. So there are hundreds of examples that have geography can play an important role. Another example that why Pakistan joined war on terror in the backdrop of 9/11 attacks when the US and NATO forces came to Afghanistan. So Pakistan became frontline state uh, in this war on terror. Why? Because of its geography. America needed Pakistan once again, and Pakistan, of course, there was an assistance came from Afghanistan, from the US in the shape of coalition support funds, and there are so many other examples. Another internal determinant that is history. So certainly history also plays a very significant role. Look to the relationship between India and Pakistan. So that is historical legacy. Have these two countries emerged? Have they got independence? Have there was a rivalry between Hindus and Muslims? And even today it persists over there. Second, look to the so many other examples in the world about this history that has history shapes foreign policy of a country. Look to Pakistan and Afghanistan. Unfortunately, they could not enjoy good relationship for a long time because of so many historical claims and this historical legacy. Look to the China's and Japan relationship. Their bilateral relationship is not very good because of the historical legacy. How Japan was a colonizer there, a colonial power who occupied the fourth northeast provinces of China. Also, the Nanjing massacre is very famous phenomenon in international politics and international relations. So that's why even today, uh, Chinese people, they don't like Japanese very much, and there are so many hundreds other examples from history. Third, that is the natural resources. So no doubt that natural resources also play important role. All those countries who have abundance of natural resources, whether those are hydrocarbon resources, just like in Central Asia, look, Central Asian states, though they are not very powerful, but in hydrocarbon resources, they are very rich in mineral resources. So that's why now there is a new great game over there. I mean, the Russia, China, US, European Union as a whole, India, and so many other countries, they are in search of these resources because of this oil and gas, natural gas resources. So because of these things, look to the African states. So now China is one of the biggest investors there in African continent because of these natural resources, whether that is agriculture, there's water, that is oil, that is gas, or so many other minerals. So it also plays an important role in this regard. Another that is the media. So media also performs significant and crucial role. Public opinion, it matters, but it depends on the structure of the government. In some countries it matters more, and some it less. I mean that wherever there is dictatorship, so it may matters less. Wherever there is the monarchy, absolute monarchy, it matters less. But wherever there is democracy, and more particularly liberal democracy, just like in most of the European countries and also in the United States, it matters a lot. Look to the US Vietnam War, so it was public opinion and pressure which was developed on the American government for the withdrawal of the US troops from Vietnam, and at last America was very much forced to withdraw all its forces from Vietnam. So that was about the public opinion. Look to the India and Pakistan rivalry. So Pakistan responded to the nuclear tests of India in 1998, and one of the basic reasons was of the public opinion that public pressure was so much on the then Pakistan's Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif. So that's why Pakistan decided to have also its own nuclear tests. Another thing in this direction is economy. So that there are many countries in the world, by geography and by population, they are very small, but their economy is vibrant. Their economy is they have huge potential. Look to Belgium, look to Netherlands, look to Luxembourg, look to Sweden, look to other European countries. So their economies are very big, very active. They are very much interconnected with the rest of the world. Their trade, it matters, bilateral trade, multilateral trade. So that's why they are important in international politics. They are important in foreign policies, although they are small in by geography, by population, but still they are important because of their economy. Some countries, they are even large in geography, but they lack that kind of importance because they don't have that vibrant economy, or they don't have that big economy, just like many African and many Asian countries. Another internal determinant, that is religion. So religion also plays an important role, if not 100% for all times, but in most of the cases it plays. Look to Pakistan's foreign policy, that every time Pakistan raised its voice for the cause of the Muslims, whether that is the Palestine issue, Kashmir issue, Rohingya Muslims issue, Afghanistan issue, other issues in the world, in Africa for the independence of Algeria and so many other countries. Why? Because Pakistan shares the same religious factor, that is, Islam. Look to the Saudi Arabia's role, that many countries it regards the position of Saudi Arabia because of those holy sites, and but it doesn't mean that every time it plays a role. Sometimes it plays wherever it meets the interest of the countries, but sometimes even it doesn't. So it is one of the internal determinants of the country. Also ethnicity or culture. So same culture or same ethnicity, sometimes it also plays its role. Look to the Sino-Vietnam War, when there was a border war between China and Vietnam. But the real story, it says that there was Chinese population inside the territories of Vietnam. They just complained to the Chinese government that the Vietnamese government was not treating them very well. Vietnamese government was discriminating them. So then there was war happened between the two. Look to the Hitler attack on Czechoslovakia. There is a small strip of land that is called Sudetenland. So Hitler stated that it was part of Germany historically, and the population is there German by ethnicity, by culture, by language. So that's why it should be given back. So there was very famous Munich Agreement of 1938. The Sudetenland was taken back from Czechoslovakia, and then Germany not only took it back but attacked on Czechoslovakia, and later on even further attacked on Poland, which was the start of the Second World War on 1st September 1939. Another internal determinant, that is the science and technology. There are many countries by agriculture, they are not very strong. Even by geography, they are not big countries, but their science and technology very advanced. Look to the example of South Korea, which is a small country, but by technologically it is very advanced. Its foreign policy is very vibrant. Look to Japan. Japan is also not a big state, but its science and technology, it's popular around the world, so its foreign policy is very active. Look to many countries in Europe in size, though they are small, but their foreign policies are active because of the science and technology. There is another internal determinant, that is the form of the government, that what kind of government you have, whether that is absolute monarchy, constitutional monarchy, military dictatorship, civilian dictatorship, democracy, a kind of democracy which may call it pseudo democracy or liberal democracy. So there is famous theory which is called democratic peace or democratic peace theory. It says that democracies, they don't fight with one another. If we take the example of Europe, so yes, since 1991, for the last 29 years almost, European states, they did not fight because of all countries of Europe now they are democratic. So yes, there was war of Kosovo, Bosnia with Serbia, but that was the disintegration of a socialist state which was Yugoslavia. Already established democratic states, they have not fought war with one another. So it is very much likely, if not 100% for all the times, but in most of the cases, the states who share same form of the government, they are less likely to fight war with one another. Another that is the political ideology. So some states, even they share so many things, but even politically, ideologically, they are different from one another. That's why they go to fight with each other. Just like North Korea and South Korea, still they have tensions. They fought war in 1952 to 53 for 3 years. So the European powers, most of and the US supported South Korea, China and Soviet Union and other socialist states, they supported North Korea. So look to the both Koreas. By every term they are same, but only politically they are different. South Korea, that is democratic; North Korea, that is socialist. But so they fought war, and still there are severe tensions between these two states. So viewers, I hope you like this video. In next video we will talk about the external determinants of foreign policy. Take care. Allah Hafiz and goodbye.